Good evening, and welcome to another edition of African Americans Ain't Africans, the think show that proves without a shadow of a doubt that the so called African American didn't find his way to America in the trunk of a ship. I'm your host, the Indigenous One. You know, one of the things that African Americans are trained to do is let other people tell them who they are. That's a trait of the African American, because if you ask an African American, where's African American? Where do you come from? They don't have a clue. This is what I mean about being cloned away from who you are. I hope you guys get that, because it's real. They just clone you away from who you are. You're African Americans now. You were Black a few years ago. You were Negro before that. Colored before. You are always falling into these traps. And the cold part about it is that you perpetuate it. All people got to do is throw it out, and you so starving for anything, you will pick up whatever they tell you, and you'll bring it back to camp. That shit is fading out, cuz. Today, we lost an icon. This brother was off the hook. Just check out his body of work. And I'm going to prove to you tonight that you don't die. You just change forms and come back as something else. Or you may, wherever your mind is, that's what takes you. That's the driver, your mind. And if you ain't got no mind, anybody can step in and guide you to where they want you to take them. The African American doesn't look at like that's what an African American is. That's what a Black person is. That's what a Negro person is. They fall into these traps, and other people just take them to where they want to go. That's how they get paid. You honestly think the African American is 13% of the population? Where do you go in the world where the indigenous people are the smallest population? They just keep you dumb, and whatever they tell you, yeah, boss, yeah. You don't ever think for yourself. That African American doesn't. Don't pretend like, well, you leave them alone. Come on, y'all. You saw, I just want to say this, and we're going to get back on Clarence Williams III, but I got to say this, because this is important. And this is where the African American, God damn. Really? This chick, Kamala Harris, is going to tell the people in Central America, in South America, in the Caribbean, that they can't come here. Stay home. Stay home. But she about to bring 1 million Indians over. Guess what the African American says? Guess what the Negro says? Just keep that in mind coming up, because some things about to hit you better be ready for. This brother right here, Clarence Williams III. I never seen him on Broadway. I heard he kicked ass on Broadway. And I just saw him through the few productions I seen of him. And just seeing all the outpouring of love from all over, this cat was bad. And this is what I mean. You never die. Who's the Clarence Williams III, I guess the past 30 years? Who is that? Now updated for our generation. Samuel L. Jackson. Same, both were excellent in what they did. This picture right here is Clarence Williams in a flick. And if y'all ain't never seen it, you gotta see it. And when we say acting, so remember, an actor, he only gets a few scenes in the whole movie because you got to fill the movie up. You got to keep the people on edge. You can keep, you got to keep them thinking all over the place. So the lead actor only gets, so if in a 2-hour movie, the lead actor may only get 30 minutes on screen. If that, because there's so many other plots and twists going along, it eats up the movie and spans it out. So he can only be on there for so long. When this cat is on the screen, with this movie, Tales in the Hood, now he's been in many other things, productions. He was in the Mod Squad. Check out a few images, check out a few stories of that online. He was a cool brother. He was, he wasn't part of it, and he was just kind of to himself. The characters I've seen him play. In this film right here, Tales from the Hood, and I'm telling you, y'all gotta see it. If you haven't seen it, you know what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying. If you've seen this movie, Tales in the Hood, this cat, one of the baddest things you'll ever see. He plays this mortician that's bringing these cats, just thug, stupid ass. You know what I'm talking about. And he brings these cats into this funeral home. And he goes through like 3 or 4 tales of what happened to the people who were end up in the funeral home. Real cold flick. You got to check it out. But the flick is talking about everything, all the things that so-called African-American, Black, what they go through in their daily lives. All the stories are like that, So Clarence Williams get these cats down in this funeral home where they think he's just a funeral director, and he's not. This cat is the devil. And the closing scene, you gotta see it. First of all, you'll be up pissing on yourself all night from laughter because he's funny. This cat is funny. Hilarious. When he just is. And that's in all of the things that he played. And Trader tells us that he played in Sugar Hill. If you've never seen that, see that. Check out how this brother plays that role. Now, he's not being his regular self. He's being something else. And that's what I'm saying. We're going to have to be like that. Read now. That's why I want to bring this brother up. Because he can take any role and be whatever he needs to be. And we're going to have to be that way. That's why this brother's important, because he was showing us that. Samuel L. Jackson shows us that too. Samuel L. Jackson isn't a cat that he doesn't act like that, but he plays it where you love him. He's funny and he's normally right, Like he's normally right. A lot of people may think he's an asshole for being like because he is, but nah, he cool. Just because he's loud, just because he's over the top, you can't just go whispering and blowing in people's ear all the time, because a lot of times they're not hearing you. Most of the time they're ignoring you because we don't want to hear the truth. We don't want to hear the reality. And this with this brother, the parts that he played in, he showed you some real shit, acting like it. So just go ahead and be it. Just be it. What you're supposed to do, why you're here, you came here for a reason. Ass is wiggling. Period. You ain't come here to watch no TV. You ain't here to listen to the game. Moves are being made against you now, and I just gave you the example of Kamala Harris telling people from South America that can be your backup. Or the so-called African American don't pay attention to what's going on around him and let everybody walk in on him and play like he don't see what's happening. Them days over, cuz. Them days over. There's a move on all fronts. You're cut off from your brothers on the West. Got to connect with your folks, because hands on deck. And many, 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 many people see that. You need to contact those people. You need to come up with a new food source, right? You need to get acclimated with the animals around you. Most of the animals, they're frightened of people because people have been real shitty to them over the years, especially here in America. You know, other life forms that are on this planet to live out whatever they have to live out, and you just snuff it up because you mad. That ain't a good enough answer. So I would tell the young people to get with the animals. They'll communicate with you if they feel like you cool. Animals aren't just some niggas. This is nothing that you create. You're part of a creation. Play your part. Whatever it is. If it's to wear eyelashes and wigs on your head, cool, do that. If it's to wear baseball caps and watch the game and blah, 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 do that. But my suggestion is that you are a piece of this earth. You are part of the earth. Without you, the earth wouldn't be. I know you know that. Without you, the earth wouldn't be. Why? Because you're not here. You're part of this experience. And many times people who call themselves black, who think they're black, or they take their thoughts off the land that they're standing on and transfer those thoughts somewhere else. What do you think that does for us here? So that's where we are. The indigenous people of America are being bombarded by foreigners fleeing their homes. Better ask yourself why. You better ask yourself why. When these people talk to you, why did you leave? So why'd you leave? Why you leave India? Ask them. Don't always be on the opposite end. You dictate what goes on. At least you suppose. I know some of you do, but most of us don't. Start standing up. Start thinking. Start asking questions that matter. Because you don't want your children or grandchildren, your little tink tink, to inherit what you have now. Start building something, y'all. This is the time. This is the time. If you can get 10,000 brothers to build a water plant going down to Flint, Michigan, that can be done. Because we always talk about the black man did all this and this and this. Oh, his ancestors, the people that he produced, can't build fresh water to a bunch of his people. I don't know how many miles it is from Flint, Michigan to one of the, this is your home. Oh, it ain't your home because you African and the Africans are coming over buying it. This is serious. We can act like and go get our toenails done and act like all this don't matter. People in Flint don't have fresh water. We ain't. So if we think that about them, what do we think about ourselves? This is why I'm saying Clarence Williams III, be what you say you are. Don't be no character somebody wrote in the Bible or wrote in a book. Don't really. That's really, and that's the problem that we have now. We're following other people's orders. We're following other people's ideologies. Right? Right? Clarence Williams, it's only a few of those cats that, are really into anything that we can learn from. We can learn from them all, but what is the lesson that these cats are teaching? And this cat taught me and plenty other people who I've spoken to today. This cat taught that you can be whatever you want to be. That's why Clarence Williams III is important, not just to me, but whoever checked out this man's work, I'm sure he passed that on to you too. I don't know where he was from. I really, just know him from the few roles that I seen him in. And when I heard he passed away, I was like, nah. And this is what I mean, how energy, you don't die. Energy is just transmuted. What you think this cat will come back as? If you got Samuel L. Jackson and you have brothers there who were there before them that did this thing to make you think that you can be wherever you want to be, what a lot of people say, the cat that just died, Black Panther. I don't know. I didn't see it. I never really paid attention to that. But these cats, many of these cats, and many sisters too. There's a lot of sisters who've done some bad work. Bad. But they're kind of over. There's some sisters back in the 70s and 80s that those women kind of had standards. You just wasn't going to bend them over tables, skeet in them and kick them. It wasn't happening like that because we know how Hollywood is today. We know how it is. Just imagine what it was back in the like in the 70s. Just imagine what it was like in the 70s. See, these are things we got to think of when we trying to move forward too. We not trying to do that no more. We ought to have our own stuff. There, any film, anything that we want, we should be able to produce it and give it to ourselves. I mean, you used to be able to do that. You used to produce whatever you wanted. The men on this land built whatever they wanted. They didn't have to ask nobody. They didn't have to get a pass from nobody, a permit on their own land from somebody. See, that's the African American. That's the people that we teach our children to be. That's what we are. We don't act like we're part of the land. We don't grow with the earth. We don't evolve. We don't act like that. What the African American does is wait for a boss to tell him what to do, right or wrong. You damn Skippy. So, this is what African American ain't African says. African American ain't African says this. If you have a soul, spirit, soul, if you have a soul, you know the right thing. I ain't got motherfuckers that don't know the right thing ain't got no soul. Damn. Let's not make this hard. I know they your mama. I know they your son. Dude, really? We're facing the biggest invasion of a country and we just standing by like we don't see it. Are you serious? And many of us cool about it. Okay? You know. Organize yourselves. Organize yourselves wherever you are. There's some people out there who are just as fed up as you are. There's a lot of people out there finding that they're indigenous to America. We just didn't say that because we was playing. We learned something and we thought that everybody should know. This is your land. You're at home already. Act like it. You don't have to be loud and stupid. Just take it. Matter of fact, I just want you to think of this because, we always, I don't know, why don't you start treating the foreigners like they treat you? I mean, simple. Can't we just treat everybody equal? Well, do they do business with you? No. Nobody does. Do business with yourselves. Central North America, which you call the United States, because Canada is part of America too. Alaska is part of America too. Just don't look, this United States is only a part of America. America stretches from the North Pole to the South Pole, giving you the charge that you need to do what you need to do. But you let other people come take that and give you something else so they can usurp your power. And you walking around like it's cool. You walking around like it's cool. Anybody can do whatever they want. I don't care. I can do me. And that's the African American. Don't look out for America. Only look out for what somebody told them, and that's that they African. Let them go. Seriously, let them go. You are in a situation now where you have people coming. Biden is about to let how many illegals become illegal? It's probably already happening. And what position are we in? We're racing to the bottom. We're racing to put ourselves behind the incoming immigrants, right or wrong. How come brothers aren't making barbecue grills that are sold all over the? How come? What's that? How come we're not making cars? I mean, we're the black man. We the first man on the planet. Well, what's happening? So we just let people steal our natural resources, and we just sit by on the sideline and be mad at me because I'm bringing it up. Tim Thomas says, what's the Council of Nine? They may be one of the groups who are keeping this together. I don't know. I never heard of them. I don't know who the Council of Nine is. I don't know. We have all these organizations, and this is the way of the world still today. Why? Because they all participate in it. Money. What's that song by the OJs? For the love of money. That's all we want. That's what glitters to us. A fiat currency that we are the biggest consumer buys up the world's products. For real? Yeah. I mean, check out the African American. Seriously, check them out. Do you know some of the lands that these people come from? Do you know how rich they are? See, App Trader says it best. All these rich athletes go to work on TV after making hundreds of millions. They're not trying to compete with that. They're not trying to open up their own leagues. They're just trying to still be in daddy's pocket. That's the African American. That's the foundational Black American. Whatever. You know, you just can't call your people Tallapoosa, Tallahassee, Accomack, Chitamacha. You just can't call yourself what you are? No. Why? Because boss beat it out of you. You better call yourself what he told you to call yourself. That's how it's done. Amen. So Rod says an indigenous movement that helps us get from under the table this dogma system and takes us back to Aboriginals in Americas before we were colonized. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. We're going to have to understand the words that we use. So, an indigenous movement, and this is what I'm saying, this is what we got to read. See, this is Ra 777, and this is no way, because this is how we are trained. See, we are trained to just say stuff without knowing what it means. The longer it's said, the deeper we get into it. So I'm just offering something to you, brother, that you may not know. And then remember, this is not your language. You had ways to speak. Listen to the cat Kwame Brown, and you will hear it. Listen to how a lot of brothers from the South talk, because they had their own languages. And many of us come from those people in the South. They spoke their own languages. They were a distinct and separate people. They did things that other people in the world didn't do. That was you. But we threw that away and we wanted to pick up what other people had, and we're paying for it now. And you can do that. Do what you want to do, boo. So the people that are down here, that people who left these places many years ago, these places are pristine, waiting for you to come back home and build it to what it before you were interrupted in your evolvement, before you were interrupted. And you really should put something together to get compensated for that. See, we got all these lawyers. What's up? Really? This has been done to you and you just sit down like it don't matter? This is what the African American does. Daydream about if they were in Africa, but won't go to Africa because the Africans who live on that continent won't have them. You ever ask yourself why the Africans don't come over here and take DNA tests with you to see who your long lost people are? You ever wonder that? You ever wonder that? Yeah, see, I ask African Americans that. I'll be like, well, how come the Africans that are coming over here don't take DNA tests again with you to see who their long lost people are? And to never have an answer. If you were this, shouldn't your DNA match the people who you say you come from? Well, see, we don't even think about it. We just rather stay dumb. This is what we do. Right or wrong, tell the truth. Because if you tell the truth, you'll change. You'll think different and you'll change and you'll project somewhere else. You won't keep going down the same old. I mean, at least get that to your kids. What are you here for? Why are you here? To buy as many, to see if Nike can make your perfect side? That's what you're here for? To see if Fendi can make you the right bag? That's what you're here for? This what you do? Yeah. Just say yeah. You'll realize it and then you'll move on to something else. Stop playing with yourself. Be real with yourself. You know damn well that everybody on this planet have a mama. You never ask yourself who your mother's mother was. You never ask yourself who your mother's mother was, who your mother's mother's was. You never checked the genealogy on your people. You just went and did a DNA test. For real, cuz. For real. Tim Thomas says this: I am new, so most of this is new to me. Sorry. You didn't have to tell us that. It ain't you ain't new. You here. You know the stuff because you look and you know the stuff that you've been given is bullshit. You should know it by now, but you may not know, because I know people today still believe 9/11. Some people ran some planes into it. 20 years later, people still believe that story. So Tim Thomas, you've heard, you know what's up. You know what's up. Now, some people may have told you some stuff 20 years ago and you were like, nigga, yeah, right. But you knew. And so whatever they told you, something else popped up and reminded you of what they told you. And you probably was still wasn't tripping. Then something else happened. But see, we all get it. Most of us ignore it, and ignoring it makes us ignorant. See, we know, but we just ignore it. Nigga, look, I'm going to watch the game, cuz. That's what we'd rather do. We don't pay attention. We don't look at, we don't think about it. We don't think about anything. But what somebody just tipped you to, you try to get it out your mind. And that's just not you, Tim. That's most of us. Because we don't want to confront it. We'll send our kids to the jungles of Vietnam. But we won't stand up here. That's some big shit, y'all. That's some big shit. I don't care how you try to paint it, really. So we have to tell our children different. We can't be bullshit. We can't be telling them Santa Claus is coming to town. That's bullshit. Find out what your people did. Many of those people are still there. Check on them. Go holler at them. Speak to them. Tell them you love them. Clarence Williams III, what he taught, you can be whatever. We need a car company down here. We need brothers to build airplanes. We need sisters to, it really should be about restaurants in America. As much as we like to eat, should be 90% us. I'm just saying, I know many of you say, no, just let everybody do what they want to do. And this is the world and everybody come here. I know we'll do that. That's what the African American does every day. We should have 90% of the restaurants in America, at least. As bad as we can cook. For real? As much has been stolen from you in food alone. For real? But many of us have just watched the game and go to bed. So, Clarence Williams III, be whatever it is that you came here to be. Whatever you came here to be. I don't know if your mama told you or your daddy told you, whatever, but you know. You know. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next time. Peace.